Good afternoon. The board meeting of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey and its component units is now being called to order. Today's in-person meeting is also being held virtually via teleconference, with the proceedings live streamed from the Port Authority website. Earlier today, the security meeting met in executive session. Its report will be filed with the official minutes of today's board meeting. The commissioners also met in executive earlier today to discuss ongoing negotiations or reviews of contracts or proposals on matters related to personnel procedures, and to discuss and act upon matters related to the lease of all real property wherein disclosure would affect the real value thereof or the public interest. First order of business we have is we're going to hear from our executive director, Rick Cotton. Rick?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to have a very brief report this week to report on both the activity levels at our facilities as well as the impact of COVID-19 on our workforce. At the seaport, volume increases over 2019 continue at staggering rates across our 4 bridges and tunnels. Overall traffic volumes continue basically to be at 2019, varying slightly up and down week over week. Passenger levels at our airports have become stronger as time goes by and as we come up on the peak travel season in the summer. They're currently at between 85 and 90%, and at PATH, ridership remains at approximately half of its 2019 volumes. I do want to repeat and emphasize, as I do at each of our meetings, our gratitude to the employees of the Port Authority for their efforts at our facilities and in our offices, and we continue to be grateful for the leadership of the 23 unions that represent the majority of our employees. Let me provide the board with some details. At our airports for the week of May 16th to 22nd, passenger volumes at the airports were at 86% of their pre-COVID 2019 weekly average volumes. But behind that average, on many of our holiday weekends, passenger levels have been hitting 90% of pre-COVID levels. At our bridges and tunnels for the week of May 16th to the 22nd, vehicular crossings at the 4 bridges and 2 tunnels were at 100%, exactly equivalent to the May 2019 weekly average. And on some days, we actually saw the traffic exceeding 2019 levels. At the port, in April 2022, estimated volumes were a full 1/3 higher than April 2019, continuing their string of extraordinary performance. At PATH, for the week of May 16th to May 22nd, PATH ridership was at 53% of the pre-COVID 2019 weekly average, and ridership, as I said, has continued to hover at the 50% of pre-COVID levels. That is during the week. On weekends, the level of ridership is higher compared to pre-COVID levels, and last weekend was at 76% of pre-COVID levels. Turning to our workforce, in the past 30 days, meaning April 26th to May 25th, 228 employees have reported positive test results for COVID-19. There are currently 113 employees in quarantine. That is up significantly from 67 a month ago, but significantly below levels that we have seen when the Omicron subvariant was rampant at the beginning of the year. I'm pleased to say there has been only 1 employee hospitalization in the past month, and that employee is now out of the hospital. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report.
Rick, are we going to cite the recent promotions in aviation, or we're going to save that for another time?
We can do that, Mr. Chairman. I was going to save it for another time, but now that you've raised it, we did announce last week a number of vital leadership appointments to the leadership team at aviation. Those were Charles Everett, who has served as the Deputy Director of Aviation and the General Manager of JFK Airport for the last 4 years, has been named Director of Aviation. Assuming the position of General Manager of JFK Airport is Teresa Rizzuto, who has been with JFK as the Deputy General Manager for the past 3 years. And finally, James Heitman has been named Director of Aviation Redevelopment, where he will serve as a key leader and driving force in our multi-billion-dollar redevelopment programs. He will report jointly to Huntley Lawrence, our Chief Operating Officer, and to Derek Utter, our Chief Development Officer. I want to extend our collective sincere congratulations to the appointees. They will be central in delivering world-class facilities to our passengers through transformational redevelopment, as well as a laser focus on customer experience and operational excellence. With that, Mr. Chairman, I'll turn it back to you.
I see Charles is out there. Charles, you want to stand up? Congratulations. Teresa here or James Heitman, are they here? Charles, are they here? Your colleagues? Okay, thank you very much. I'll offer their congratulations, pass it along. I'm sure they're watching here, but welcome to upper management. Mr. Executive Director, thank you very much for your report. The other thing I wanted to report on, we just, you and I had a joint appearance this week, Asian American and Pacific Islanders celebration, which was in May. I appreciate having the opportunity with the Port Authority employees, Port Authority, AAA, talking about the concerns that they have, the issues they have. Heard from two very special speakers talking about security, insecurity, about the instances of Asian hate in particular from the significant rise from 2019 to 2020. It went up like, I think 150%. The year after, 300%, from 30 instances in New York City to 150 or so. Rick, we had heard the feedback after your comments from the employees. Very much appreciated the reassurances you gave and the Port Authority has given our employees, the premium we put on the safety of all of our employees. And we wanted to address the concerns specifically at that time with regard to the Asian American and Pacific Islanders who had voiced an insecurity issue that we have addressed. But I wanted to note that and obviously note the specialness of the Asian American Pacific Islanders Month. Moving ahead, we are now going to hear from, first of all, any questions for our Executive Director from the Commissioners? If not, we're going to hear some members of the public. We have 8 speakers, 7 live and 1 video. First speaker we're going to hear from is Charlene Tellerico. Charlene? Jim? Okay. Murray Bowden, I saw Murray.
Leadership starts at the top. Starts at that table up there. And what's so interesting today is there are no plastic water bottles up there. That recognizes global warming and our need to reduce the use of plastic, both to manufacture it, transport it, get rid of it. So that's the example of leadership. I'm going to tell you a little story about parkways, where they came from and how they originated. They were rides in the park when they developed cars so people could enjoy themselves at maybe 30, 35 miles an hour. And then when they asphalted them, they could go a little faster. And they couldn't decide, they didn't know where the exits were. So somebody went out there and painted lines on the left side of the exit and the right side of the through road, so that you knew where the exit was and you knew where you could cross over if you made a mistake on a paved area where it was still safe. And then when they came in with the yellow lines, they forgot to tell you that the exit should start right where the ramp starts. And the ability to cross over from one to the other, from traffic exiting at 25 miles an hour and through traffic going at 60, 65 miles an hour. That's why they developed deceleration lanes, to keep them separate. But they never updated the book, the Manual Uniform Traffic Control Devices. Still same the way it was when it was written. They still have those two white lines. And then, you know, drivers, when they come to a red light and it turns green and nobody moves because they're all texting. So when somebody looks up and they see these white on both sides, it's confusing. And all it does is give aggressive drivers a chance to cut ahead, which creates road rage and accidents unnecessarily. So I ask you to have your engineering staff use legally correct, safe markings so distracted drivers, when they look up from their texting and the guy behind honks the horn, knows that the yellow line is on the left, the white line is on the right, and it prevents people from cutting across because they know the law and they know they can't get a ticket for crossing. Put a double line in there, up at it. Your engineering department's pretty good. And it has been a pleasure to come here. I've learned a lot from a lot of people that work around here, and I thank them all for my education.
Thank you, Murray. Alexander Jones? Alexander Jones? Moving ahead. Jason Anthony.
Good afternoon, Jason Anthony from Amazon Labor Union. I have to come here again for a second consecutive month to speak in opposition for the Amazon Air Hub that you guys agreed in secret with Amazon. That's the trillion-dollar company based in Seattle that has employees like myself working as robots. We don't need Amazon to have an agreement with by state agency like the part unauthorized, like I call it, that does agreements behind closed doors without the input of the public. Yesterday, I was in the full board meeting of the Metropolitan Transportation Authority. All board members, including his chairman CEO, Jana Lieber, were paying attention to my speech like they do every single month. Crime in New York City is on the rise. When I ride the psychopath, like I call it, I don't feel nothing safe. Trains are disgusting. Nobody cleans the trains when they reach the terminals. Every time they tweet, they don't respond in real time. What will happen if an active shooting happens inside the system? Will someone get killed? And what happens if you guys have an unexpected service change? There's no signage outside the station. Like, for instance, at Newark Penn Station, you guys only have signage inside the station. And what about outside the station? You guys don't have signage outside like the MTA does. And please have a coordination with the MTA to provide service like this. And please pay the MTA dollars to operate the Q70 Senate bus service while you guys agree to have permanent alternative to go to and from LaGuardia Airport, because we need a better alternative than a backwards air train to LaGuardia Airport. I'll see you guys next month in Jersey.
Thank you. Juliet?
Hello, my name is Juliet Meneses. I'm a lifelong resident of Elizabeth, New Jersey, and a member of Make the Road New Jersey, as well as the Good Jobs and Clean Air New Jersey Coalition. I live in the shadows of Newark Airport. Every day I hear the planes passing overhead, and while I try to study or listen to music or just do any regular activity, and many people in my neighborhood in Elizabeth have asthma, Our roads are highly congested with trucks, vans, cars, all traffic from the ports, airports, and our just being a busy city. I didn't find out that the Amazon Air Hub at Newark Airport until earlier this year when I met the representatives from our local community-based organization and who told me the deal. I was extremely shocked over this and was not looking forward to it. I was surprised when you guys allowed such a deal to go through. My elected officials, my mayor, community residents, my neighbors, like none of us agreed to this. None of us were consulted on this. None of us even knew about this. And like this is going to put extra traffic on our roads. We're already breathing smog. It's just going to make the situation worse. Our pollution is going to get worse again. Like the trucks, the traffic, everything will increasingly get worse. My mother has worked in warehouses all my life since I can remember, and just to make ends meet. Everyone in our community has worked at warehouses, and the fact that Amazon is the main source of employment and the main source of injuries while working at at a warehouse. It's not a good job to work at Amazon. Like their replacement for people, they're hiring a new staff every twice and a half a year. That's not good for anyone. So we go in and we come right back out injured beyond belief. Some people can't even stand after working at Amazon. It's $1 billion corporation that just will not take care of us. Our pollution will get worse, potentially just kill us through pollution, backbreaking work, or just considering us animals that aren't fit for rest. You have to consider the people that are behind and going to be affected by these things. I live a stone throw away from the airport. I can literally see planes taking off, and this will destroy everything.
Days Rodriguez, please. Thank you.
Spanish. Good afternoon, everybody. Mi nombre es Daisy Rodríguez, miembro de Macon Road, New Jersey, y resido en Elizabeth. Estoy aquí porque estoy muy preocupada por lo que viene al aeropuerto. La autoridad firma este acuerdo con Amazon. Elizabeth es un área con mucho tráfico. Tenemos el puerto, aeropuerto y somos una ciudad donde sale y entra mucho comercio. La información que tenemos ahora es que la autoridad portuaria de New York y New Jersey, que opera en el Aeropuerto Internacional de Newark, en agosto 5 del 2021 autorizó que su director ejecutivo entrará en un acuerdo con la compañía Amazon Global Air por 2 edificios en el aeropuerto de Newark con planes de hacer facilidades de cargas aéreas para Amazon. El impacto ambiental de este acuerdo aún no se conoce, pero lo que sí sabemos es que el aumento de tráfico aéreo y camiones que estos traen a Newark y Elizabeth debe ser tomado en serio por las autoridades portuarias y debe incluir las comunidades más afectadas. Si la autoridad portuaria realmente se preocupa por el medio ambiente y la transparencia, entonces debemos reconsiderar este acuerdo con Amazon. Además, se dice que Amazon genera 1,000 trabajos nuevos y si esto es cierto, entonces estos trabajos deben ser buenos trabajos que no solo paguen buenos salarios, sino que brinden la seguridad y la estabilidad que nuestras comunidades merecen y necesitan y el acuerdo de organizar una unión. Queremos buenos trabajos y aire limpio y un plan para proteger nuestras pequeñas empresas en nuestra comunidad. Nosotros aquí hoy representamos la comunidad más afectada. No puede seguir este proceso. procesos sin nuestras voces. Muchas gracias.
I'll be translating what.
Okay.
My name is Daisy Rodriguez. I'm a member of Make the Road New Jersey and Good Jobs and Clean Air NJ. As a resident of Elizabeth, I'm here because I'm very concerned about the Amazon Air Hub. Elizabeth is a place that already has a lot of traffic. We have the port, the airport, and we are a city where a lot of cars, trucks pass through every day. What I know is that Port Authority entered into an agreement with Amazon on August 5th, 2021. Two large buildings with plans to make an air hub. We don't know what environmental impact this will have, but we know that this air hub will bring more air and truck traffic to Elizabeth and Newark. This should be taken serious by the Port Authority, and the impacted communities must be consulted. If the Port Authority really cares about the environment and transparency, then they should reconsider this Amazon deal. What's more, they say Amazon will create 1,000 jobs, but we need to guarantee that they are good jobs with good salaries that are safe and stable. That's what our communities need, and we need Amazon to respect our rights to form a union. We're asking Port Authority to stop the secret deals with Amazon and to talk with the communities surrounding the airport. We want good jobs, clean air, and a plan to protect our small businesses. All of us today represent the communities who will be most impacted. You cannot continue this process without our voices. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Chloe Desir.
Hello, everyone. Excuse me. My name is Chloe, and I am an environmental justice organizer with Ironbound Community Corporation based in Newark. I'm an Elizabeth resident, and I work in Newark as well. And we're writing as Newark residents and environmental justice advocates and in opposition of the proposed Amazon Air Hub in Newark. As an organization that finds strength in community input, in unity and transparency, it's recognized that there's none of these things in this proposal that would be impacting everyone that resides and works in this area. Newark residents have been historically targeted by polluting industries and is now home to more than 3, proposing for 4, fracked gas power plants, 4 Superfund sites, planes flying overhead every 1.5 minutes, and over thousands of trucks per day on average passing by. We are also home to the highest rate of asthma as compared to anywhere else in the state of New Jersey, and within our own city, 1 in 4 children develop asthma, and we are the leading city when it comes to the asthma rates. It is not only imperative, but also the bare minimum to consider the true impact you're making in the communities you're invading, as opposed to the economic profit with the underpaid, injury rate inducing jobs you'd be introducing to the people whose air you're choosing to detriment with their input, not put in. We as an organization that fights for environmental justice refuse to allow yet another polluting corporation infringe on our health and the well-being for the false promise of safe, decent jobs. As an overburdened community, we demand our voices be heard when we say no to the Amazon Air Hub. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have one video speaker. You go to video speaker. Diallo.
Hi, my name is Jane Bujallo. I lead climate justice work at Power Switch Action, and today I'm here with Good Jobs Clean Air New Jersey to talk about the potential impacts of increased traffic due to the sighting of an Amazon Air Hub at Newark Airport. A recent Consumer Reports investigation found that Amazon opens most of its warehouses in neighborhoods with a disproportionately high number of people of color and low-income residents. According to the New Jersey Environmental Justice Mapping Tool, the neighborhoods near Newark Airport fit this profile. They are categorized as low-income, minority, and also limited English. So these communities are already overburdened with pollution, and they will face even more due to the operations at Amazon's proposed Air Hub. Increased traffic can seriously diminish residents' quality of life and health. According to a study by the University of Redlands and People's Collective for Environmental Justice, in California, the average percentile for traffic across census tracts with warehouses is 67% compared to the state average of 50%. The study also found that nearly 20% of warehouses tend to fall into the top 10% worst census tracts for traffic. Traffic is a significant source of air pollution, especially in urban areas where more than 50% of air pollution comes from mobile sources. According to several studies, residents living near Amazon warehouses face increased air pollution from trucks and vans. For example, a 680,000 square foot Amazon warehouse in Fontana, California generated 6,000 vehicle trips per day, including 2,300 diesel truck trips. Exposure to diesel exhaust can lead to serious health impacts like asthma, respiratory illnesses, and cancer, especially in children and the elderly. In environmental justice communities like those surrounding the airport, this means even more emergency room visits, hospital admissions, absences from work and school, and premature deaths. Traffic also lowers quality of life for residents living near warehouses. Amazon's expansion has led to warehouses being sited near schools and playgrounds, which makes streets more dangerous for kids who are walking and biking in their neighborhoods. The increased vehicle trips means that residents deal with near constant noise, longer travel times, and battling for space with semi-trucks and vans. In a recent study, Warehouse Workers for Justice points out that dangerous driving conditions do not only occur on highways, but also on local roads where truck drivers will sometimes veer off onto because of payment practices that pressure workers to cut corners and put communities in danger. Having more semi-trucks on the road also means that roads wear down faster. For residents who live close to trucks and van routes, it also means their homes wear down faster. Some spend thousands patching up cracks in their homes due to constant vibrations from passing by trucks. Last, according to a study conducted in Joliet, Illinois, by Warehouse Workers for Justice and Lewis University, warehouse workers and drivers who are mostly Black and brown are just as impacted by increased traffic. Warehouses are toxic sites for Amazon workers who work in constant and close quarters to diesel trucks. Because physical exertion leads to more frequent and deeper inhalation, warehouse workers are likely to breathe diesel pollution into their lungs and even their bloodstreams over long periods of time. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. That concludes the speaker portion. There are no other action items on the agenda today. No further business. I ask for a motion to adjourn. So move. We have a second. All in favor? Aye. Meeting's now adjourned. We'll see everybody soon.